So 2016 is the last year on my Tumblr, which is buyforless.tumblr.com. And the first part of 2016 to about 9 months into 2016, I was doing a Spanish translation of the Taiji book. Then later, I ended up doing an invitation for a friend of mine's wedding, or during that time. I did an invitation, and it was in Spanish, and she told me she wanted connecting rings and the names of the two of them on the cover of the invitation. So I found this image and showed it to her, and she said she didn't like the blue, so we made it a little bit more elegant with a nicer background. I eliminated the blue and kind of toned down the pink. She wanted stickers because she had votives, and she had like votive candles, and she had other little favors for everybody. So she wanted to customize them by putting a sticker on them, and I made the sticker for her. The backing is clear, so you see the white on the back of the picture on the what's holding the sticker up. And I also organized all of the printing for that. I found the best price, and with included shipping and all of that, and so she got all her stuff sent to her, and she paid me and I paid them. So down here is a picture of my Peter and a flyer for dog walking in case people wanted to do something like that. It's good money. I haven't tried it yet, but I might. Here I did a composite picture. Foreground and background are two different images. Foreground is a bonsai tree, or trees in a planter. I took tons of bonsai tree pictures at the National Arboretum when I was there on a field trip in Washington, D.C. And I took millions of sunset pictures, as anyone who's on my Facebook knows. And so I combined the two of them and played around with the colors on on Photoshop. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. And that led to a very interesting dress on Redbubble. Forest Feel Warm, Laravi is the name of that. I don't know why the price is... Oh, that's probably the price for people who are not on Redbubble. If you want to buy something from Redbubble, you should get an account with them and put a couple of things up there, because I think you might get a discount, but I'm not completely sure. This is a band, and they were on Elance, I think, or Upwork, whichever one it was at the time, and they were looking for a CD cover. So I took my favorite picture, and I added a few more, like my lizard. There's my lizard. And I added over here an image that I took in Scotland of somebody having some fun one night and we found this the next day. They had a traffic cone on the head of somebody distinguished, a sculpture of somebody. I thought that was funny. And then here is another picture of mine, if I can find him. There he is. My dragon. This dragon comes from a picture that I drew. A plumber was looking for an image and a brand, and I had him in a full armor fighting this dragon, and the dragon was coming out of a bathtub, and he had like a wrench, like a plumber's wrench, instead of, I don't know, some other weapon that a knight would use. So that was my take on that plumber. I ended up just doing a logo, but I didn't get that job. I just did all the work. I did the work online based on what they were looking for. And they're a reggae band, and they're really good. You should try to listen to them, find them online. Shock Pack is their name. And I did comics of them and their girlfriends and their dog. Just trying to see what would look good. And I tried to stay with the reggae colors, Jamaican colors. But they're very talented. They have a good sound to them. If you want to listen to some reggae. Then here's some 3D modeling work that I did on Maya. This is all class work. And I was working on a story at ARC that happened to take place in India. We were able to choose amongst 4 stories, and we had to rewrite a part of it. We had to change it. This is a dog toy from my dog Peter that I made on 3D modeling assignment in Maya. And here he's half done. So he's a 3D, and here's his foot becoming 3D in his hand. And I've colored him, and the nose is going to be round, and his head is round, and so I'm going to get to this part of him afterwards. But I was in the middle of making him, and I took a picture. Screenshot. And I took a couple of other screenshots. I did a house, and on the right is the image that I was inspired by, that I took online, from online. This is a round, deep well type pool. The roof is slanting and made out of glass. The front is all glass with wood frame. And then the back is concrete, and it's holding up this roof. That isn't going to let any water in. And here's an aerial view. Side view. This is showing the front. You have kind of a moat with a bridge next to that tree where you're supposed to go in. And it kind of goes down into the well-looking type of pool. And there's a nice courtyard. This is the story and the 3 different princes that she can choose from. A bossy, always right, a dirty or unclean, and a vain prince. And on the other side of the divider is the father acting as host, and she is in the chair with the dilemma of who to pick. They all have some obvious flaws. And I reworked the story. They were originally supposed to go on a trip and bring back a trinket, and depending on the trinket, they would be chosen as her husband. I decided what personal sacrifices did they make during their trip to make them better people, and that would be the person that she would marry. So, the vain prince, they all improved depending on, they were helped by the place and the people in the places that they traveled to. They all improved, but one of them made an act when he was there in her favor, when she was being stressed by her father to choose. He kind of showed the most compassion towards her and love towards her, so he was the one that won. The vain prince, who had come back quite humbled after getting lost in the Malaysian islands and not knowing if he was ever going to come back. So, this is a bed duvet cover and a clock. And a journal, all on Redbubble. And then my Vimeo links, because I was also doing animation. I was doing 2D animation, so I had the 3 classes: 2D animation, 3D modeling, and a character design class. These drawings are more from the other story made in India. Do you see the, I don't know if you can see the texture of this clothing, but that pattern, I wanted them to be in the turn of the century in India, and the patterns were very like wallpaper style. So I didn't really want him to have that kind of pattern on his suit. I wanted it to be more elegant. And they were quite elegant, the ones at the turn of the century. They were very simple. So I chose the simplest one I could find, which was more like a antique bathroom floor tile job. A lot of white tiles with sporadic black tiles. These people on the elephants, this is how some people choose to arrive at their wedding. So this man is coming in elephant. And this one came from a picture that I found online of a couple who rented an elephant to go to their wedding. So some of the pictures are going to be from one of the stories that I did with the very involved storyboarding at the Art Institute, where I was creating the story. And then the other ones are going to be more character designing. So they're going to stress expression, skull, skeletal, silhouette, presence, persona, more of the creating of the character. So not just showing couples and culture and rituals. And I'm going to end here so I can continue. This is a more modern couple who I found online. And some of them are still using a lot of the same types of clothing. They go with tradition.